Trophy review. I've been thinking about this for a long time, and it's due. And this is a long-term review. I put on 14,000 kilometers on this Triumph Trophy, and I'm going to compare it to a lot of bikes. And yeah, this is the bike to own. Now, there's lots of other sport tours, there's no doubt, but this is more on the tour side of sport tour. So if that's what you're looking at, that's the way to go. I bought this thing for about $13,000 with 12,000 kilometers on it. That's Canadian, folks. That's cheap. And let me tell you, we're gonna compare it right away to a Goldwing. Now, I had a 2008 Goldwing. I loved it. It was good, but the downfalls are it's super crazy heavy. In the twisties, you'll love it, but you will drag pegs and you will be disappointed if you're riding with other sport tours. We're gonna then switch over now. We're gonna go right to the king of the hill, the BMW GT 1600. Yeah, that bike's got more power. Yeah, that bike's got a little bit more, quarter mile is better, but look at that bike and sit on it. That is a big bike. You will feel like it's a big bike. And it might be the king, but I'll tell you, there isn't a whole bunch of difference between this Triumph Trophy SE and that BMW 1600 GT. And we're talking 10 grand less easy on the used market for something in that 12,000 K mark. So you know, let's dethrone that a little bit, okay? Then we're going to throw the FJR 1300. Now, my brother has an FJR 1300. We've rode together for a few days now, and I'll tell you, we're going to get him to come past here. We've been doing a little bit of drag stripping, and there he is. There he is. And like, we go down to 80K and we pin her, and we go right up to like 200K, and we are literally this far apart after we hit 200K. Sometimes I'm ahead of him and sometimes he's ahead of me, so it's very, very even. He is better in the corners because that bike's geometry is a little more sport, so you know, but I'm getting way less wind and I have a little bit more comfort creatures with the stereo and with all the suspension adjustments and all that kind of crazy stuff, which you can get on the newer FJR 1300. You can get electronic suspension, but there's a lot more on this bike to offer than that, for sure. I got tons of electronics. I got more electronics than a BMW, and things that I can shift up and stuff. Everybody complains about the Triumph Trophy. Oh, how do you toggle through all this stuff? Well, you know what? If you're renting a bike for a day, okay. You know, or a couple days, okay, fine. Your BMW is going to be easier to toggle through. But once you own this bike for a little while, like a week, you're going to toggle through everything, and it's easy, and it's got memory settings, so you can just go to your sport ride mode, boom, you're in there with one up rider with luggage in sport mode, and away you go. Or if you're going to take the wife, boom, you put it in number 2 setting, and all of a sudden you got 2 up luggage, comfort, blah blah blah, it's all there. Okay, then we're going to throw ourselves over to the Concourse. We're going to compare this to the Concourse. Concourse got way more power. The thing's a rocket ship. There's no two ways about it, okay? But its brakes are horrible, and nobody likes the handling very much. So handling is a little bit to be, you know, compared to the Triumph Trophy, this handles better than a Concourse for sure. And I've got, like, I got cruise control. Concourse doesn't have cruise control. If you're in the tour mode, you want cruise control, because sometimes you gotta straighten your underwear out, and there's nothing worse than crooked underwear, let me tell you, on a long trip. Comfort, man, I could go for a 9-hour ride, and I might get a little uncomfortable the last couple hours, but really, I'm not having to stop or stretch or nothing, and I can easily do a 9-hour in the seat, easy. Okay, that's part one. We'll have to go part two because we're coming up the border crossing at Eureka. Okay, over, don't bye. So anyways, we're just going to continue on with our Triumph Trophy review, Triumph Trophy SE. So we also have to mention the 1200 BMW 1200, the twin, which is really, that was a GSXR 750, and that was a 1400 Kawasaki. Crazy bikes, like, man, these guys are nuts. Anyways, so when we look at the BMW 1200, which now they have the 1250, I believe, as well, but they got the 1200. You know, that's another contender without a doubt, folks. That is actually what this bike, that the Triumph Trophy SE, was kind of designed to compete with. And whenever you look at the reviews, other than the ease of scrolling through the technology, so we got the ease of scrolling through the technology with the BMW, but unless you're renting it for a day or two, that's not an issue. We've already covered that. But other than that, when you look at all the other reviews out there, people like the Triumph Trophy better. It handles better, it's got better power, it's got better torque, it's got better upper top end, everything. So, you know, when we throw that in the mix, it's really not in there either, and it's extremely expensive. Where the Triumph Trophy comes with the top box, the side bags, everything as well, right? So it's just a way less expense when you're getting into buying an X Sport Tourer bike. Okay, so now let's talk about competing with the BMW again. I know we're harping on that a little bit, but really, because the Triumph Trophy was designed to compete with the BMW, really, it looks very similar. Why would you go with the Triumph Trophy instead of the BMW? Well, first, initial cost. Secondly, is the maintenance cost. The Triumph Trophy is a very simple bike, very easy to maintain yourself. You know, maybe not as cheap to repair as a Kawasaki Concourse, but definitely a lot cheaper than dealing with BMW parts, BMW service, BMW issues, and the cost to rectify those things. So the Triumph Trophy, in my mind, is so far ahead when it comes to financial maintenance cost, and not only that, but the initial cost of purchasing the bike. So you got those two things in that regard. Just gotta pull up my socks. There we go. Okay, so what else can we talk about? Well, the Triumph Trophy's got like 3 power ports where you can plug in for heated vests, heated jackets, plug in for your like even the back box has a plug-in, and I use that a lot. I plug in my little portable power pack while I'm driving. If my battery on my camera goes dead, I can just next stop, throw the camera in for a few miles, and plug that into the back as well. So I got power that's easily accessible for all those weird and wonderful things. And the other thing, I can actually switch from kilometers to miles per hour very easily on my scroll through dash, which I'm going to do soon because we are now in the United States of America. Oh yeah, this is the best place to ride your bikes, man. I'll tell you, hotels are dirt cheap, and gas is dirt cheap. Speed limits are like way up there. They really know how to get her done in the States. It's amazing. Anyways, okay, what else can I tell you? The Triumph Trophy windshield. Okay, this thing can go way up, eh? Now I know you guys are, this would be where I'm looking right down here. I'm just going to sit back down again, but that's kind of where I'm at. I know with the FJR, you can't raise the windshield that high. Because this is a little more tour related, it's a lot fatter of a bike. The Triumph Trophy is a little fatter. Sorry guys, I'll just adjust the camera a little bit. On the front, the nose cone is like the space shuttle, and but I got very little wind. I had the 2008 Honda Goldwing before for a couple of years, and I'm pretty much getting the same wind protection as that Goldwing, which is a big deal for me, because I don't like bugs, I don't like rain. Like when it's raining, I just lift up the windshield so I'm looking through it. I don't get any rain. It has to be really raining for me to get rained on, which is amazing. The seating on the Triumph Trophy, like my legs are tucked right in here, really tucked in. I'm just not getting any wind or rain or anything. It's, I mean, I am fit like a glove. After 9 hours, literally, I am not stretching my legs. I'm not standing up to stretch. I'm not doing anything. It's just such a comfortable position and so natural. And when I'm going and leaning into the corners and just rocking on it, I can slide off this seat and hang off this bike like nothing. It's like an old baseball glove that just fits you perfectly. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate the comfort and the ability to ride this bike hard. It's amazing. It really is. So okay, that's my long-term Triumph Trophy review. Hey, hit a like if you like it. Prescribe if you need something. And yeah, shoot guys, I got a lot of videos. I mean, I do a lot of preaching about the glory and all that. So I mean, if you're into that stuff, check out my other videos. Other than that, hey, thank you for checking in. You guys are amazing, all my subscribers. Yeah, I can't believe it. It's amazing. Okay, gotta go. We gotta go do some riding in the States, driving and eating stuff and barbecues and everything. A little bit of corners here for your listening viewing pleasure. Oh, and a truck. Got Daryl. That's our cube. That's our cube. Cubey Looby. We got well, Daryl snuck ahead. We got Colby right in front of me. Clay behind me. Lewis in front of Colby, and then we got Tracy in front of Lewis. Clay behind me, and then somewhere in there we got Mike in behind Clay. This is like the go-kart track in Kelowna. Okay, so now we have gone on this little review that I was talking about with the 2014 Triumph Trophy SE. We just went through a 2,400 kilometer ride through Idaho and Montana And some of the roads that we did between Chalice and Salmon, and even Boise, the road from Boise to Chalice, if you guys ever get a chance to do that road, wow, it's just one crazy turn after the other, and switchbacks, and I've never scraped my boots before in my life, and especially on the Triumph Trophy, but I sure did this time. So I just wanted to touch base on a couple items on the comparison for the Sport Tour Triumph Trophy compared to the BMWs and the Concourses and the FJR 1300. And I am getting amazing gas mileage. One of the guys in our group is driving a V-Strom, a brand new V-Strom 650, and I'm getting better gas mileage than him. That's a 650 twin, and we're riding together, so it's not like I'm riding any different than him. And man, in not even a full tank of fuel, I used a half of a gallon less in the same distance. So anyway, it's just kind of a really kind of a neat note when it comes to fuel economy. This Triumph Trophy SE is amazing on fuel, and I would be hard pressed that any of the other sport tours would get that kind of gas mileage. I know for sure the FJR 1300, I used a half a gallon less as well. In fact, the FJR 1300 and the V-Strom 650 had the identical amount of fuel usage, and I was a half a gallon less. And we're talking, I don't know, 200 miles. In the 200 miles, maybe closer to about 175 miles, using a half a gallon less. So quite a bit of gas mileage difference between the Triumph Trophy and other sport tours, which makes it another really good value. Now my brother on the FJR 1300 was riding all the different bikes this weekend. He was riding a ZX14, which is Kawasaki's Hayabusa. And he also rides my son GSXR 750, which is by far the most uncomfortable for anybody over 50. And then he rode my Triumph Trophy, and he had commented that if he had to drive from here to California, he would jump on the Triumph Trophy, hands down. And I gotta say, it is really comfortable. Rarely ever do I have to stretch my legs, and I'm 5'10" and a half, 180 pounds. Rarely do I ever have to stand up and stretch, like rarely ever. I could count on one hand in the whole time I own this bike that I have had to do either one, and that would be like maybe once standing up, once for a little bit, once. And I think I just did it because everybody else did it. And stretching my legs out, I think I done that once too, just for a little stretch. So excellent in regards of comfort. Hard to beat. Top speed, well, not that you know, we want to brag about how fast we can go, but 225 kilometers an hour, which is around 135 miles an hour. That's fairly easily attainable, and it probably could go faster than that. But you know, at that speed, like this has got a pretty big nose cone on it, pretty big fuselage, and it's just a little bit, you know, it's pushing a lot of wind, and I don't get buffeting. It's not like I'm getting buffeting, but my personal comfort level at 230 kilometers an hour is being pushed a little bit, and I don't think it could go much faster than that. Probably 240, probably like 230 to 235. I think that would be your top speed. But then again, if you're looking at your sport tour for top speed, I would go and buy a FJR 1200 or a BFR 1200 if you're looking for top speed. And I think the FJR 1300, by the way, just wrapping that puppy up, it's like the higher RPM it goes, the more it accelerates. I know that sounds stupid, but it's like if the Triumph Trophy and the FJR 1300 were having a race, I think they would be pretty even up to about 210 kilometers an hour. But after the 210, I would say that it's fairly confidently that the FJR 1300 will start to pull away, because they're talking a top speed of 200 or 152 miles an hour on the FJR 1300 on the specs. And so that's quite a bit faster than the 135/140 miles an hour on the Trophy. But there again, what in the world are you doing driving that kind of speeds for a long period of time? It ain't gonna happen. And if you're racing these bikes, you got the wrong bike. There again, why are you doing that? It's not making sense. Passing semis, two semis, a line of traffic, there's going to be no difference between your FJR 1300. Concourse will be better by far, and probably the BMW 1600 is going to be better too. But believe you me, I was behind a brand new Corvette last year, and we went and passed a semi, me and this Corvette. And let me adjust the camera here just a smidgy. Yeah, behind this Corvette, and we passed a semi. It was a brand new Corvette, so whatever it was the fancy one. Like, I mean, it was beautiful. And we passed this semi, and I thought, okay, here we go. And you could hear him. He just, wah! He was just like, I mean, he poured it on, and I'm like, wah! And I even hit my rev limiter. I started in third and hit my rev limiter and shifted into fourth. And no kidding, I came right up to the Corvette's bumper, and I had to hold back. So, you know, the Triumph Trophy can out accelerate around a brand new Corvette, one of the C6s or whatever you want to call that thing. I don't know what they call it. But, you know, that just gives you an idea that you are in supercar performance. So there again, what more do you want in a bike? So to wrap it up, which maybe this isn't even the wrap up, but as a review, amazing gas mileage, amazing comfort, amazing wind protection, amazing electronics, amazing rain protection. It rained on us hard and I barely got wet. And this thing, by the way, handled like a dream in the water. Price point is huge. Reliability is huge. Service on the Triumph Trophy is cheap and easy. I don't know. I never had to order parts, but I don't think, if you're long as you're around a major center, I don't think that's a big issue. Yeah. The only negative I can see with this bike so far for me is that the tires don't last long. I would say that I'm going through a tire every 8,000 kilometers. A rear tire, not front, rear tire. I had the Michelin Road 4s, 8,800 kilometers, done. Like, we're talking done. There was no more sipes in the middle of the tire. It was done. I'm now on a Battle Axe Bridgestone T31. And I'm going to have about 8,000 kilometers after this trip on this bike, on this tire. And I would say that this tire is going to be, it definitely won't do a big trip anymore. So it's basically going to be done, probably around the same as the Michelin. It's going to be done. I don't know why. I don't know why they go that fast. It's got to be something with the Triumphs, maybe the torque, maybe the weight of all the bags. I don't know. I can't really say. I mean, the bags, all three bags in the back, they're heavy. Like, it's really heavy. I think I mentioned, I bet you they're 75 pounds easy, just in empty bag weight. So you throw luggage in there, it's going to be way worse. Hey you guys, it's the Triumph Night, and I'm just going to do a little promo here to Penco.
So here we are, we're ripping through from Boise. Well, we went from Edmonton, Alberta to Boise, back to Missoula to Libby, and then we realized my tire's toast. So we call these guys, and they're like, we will find you a tire, just get here as fast as you can. I show up within 2 hours, and they're like ready for me. They got the tire ready and the bike's in the shop. I'm gonna be in this place for like 45 minutes. And it's awesome. This is an amazing store, and this is in Kalispell, and I would just recommend it for anybody that wants to come this way. We had another guy a couple days ago go through a tire. They came in here as well, and within an hour got a tire put on. And amazing. Actually, the lady in the parts department, the crazy parts lady, she didn't have the tire that I quite wanted, so she phoned around town to see if she could find the tire for me. So I wish she was here, but she's not. I'd interview her for sure. Anyways, big heads up to Penco Power Products, and these guys are just awesome.
The last two tires that I had were the Michelin Road 4, and that lasted about 8,800 kilometers. Then I had the Battle Axe T31 by Bridgestone, and that tire lasted me a total of about 7,000 K before I hit the cords. And I'm riding really aggressively. I'm shredding the tires on the sides when I'm doing corners. Just kind of give you a good example of the type of cornering we're doing. Basically, no chicken strips. I'm heavy on the throttle, heavy on the brake, and so we're going to be doing an extreme test on the Road 3 and a long-term test right now on the Triumph Trophy. Just from a mileage point of view, right now on the Triumph Trophy, I got 29,083 kilometers, and we'll do a. It might take a year to do this review, but we're going to see how we're going to do in a year, and see how much tread we've got left. All right, thank you guys. It's the Triumph Knight signing off for now.